Mohammed Shami taking the first over after tea is edged and falls in front of Gully off the bat of Rory Burns. It's a good length burst up, and you did wonder why Shami wasn't opening up with Bumrah with a new ball before the tea break. He's bowling from the Radcliffe Road end, so the wind behind him, and potentially that was the reason why, but he sets up perfectly first ball.
Yeah, we discussed that on the TV highlights, why he wasn't bowling. He bowled beautifully first innings, but it must be due to the wind. I'm slightly surprised he's come around the wicket. I thought he might try and trap Burns LBW like Bumrah did.
Shami bowls, Burns looks to defend, but it beats the edge through to Rishabh Pant.
But then I'm going to have to say the first two balls from around the wicket, he's got a nick to Gully which didn't quite carry, and then a play and miss where the one swung in and nipped away. So from sitting here, you have to say, Mohammed Shami, you know what you're doing, you stay around the wicket and carry on.
He's bowling his natural length, which is a bit further back of a length than a normal kind of swing bowler who pitches it up a bit more. But he did bowl it a bit fuller in the World Test Championship final, and some fuller deliveries in England's first innings as well, when the ball was swinging. Two slips in the gully in position for the left-handed Burns as he's defending to the leg side, the front foot. Another good length delivery. He is pretty much bang on every time, line and length, Mohammed Shami.
Yeah, I think the quality of the bowling so far we've seen in this Test match has been superb from both sides, pretty much. Naggingly accurate, a good pace, and a little bit of movement off the pitch and in the air. Batting has become has been hard work.
But you would say in that half an hour up until tea, sun was out. You mentioned the heavy roller potentially just flattening things out a bit as Burns crouches down, gets back and across and works the ball to square leg, no run.
Yeah, I think it was in that half an hour. I thought the way Dom Sibley and Roy Burns played very well, very controlled, but that little bit of zip off the new ball we saw when England were bowling, the second new ball, Ollie Robinson, kissing the surface and hitting the top of Bumrah's bat from Sam Curran, that kind of bit of pace has just gone out of the wicket. It must be the heavy roller. It normally has effect for 4, 5, 6 overs, and actually I reckon since tea already it's just kissed on a little bit more.
Open stance from Burns. Shami round the wicket, bowls Burns across and defending, solid defence. Not a lot of foot movement back or forwards, but just holds that pose in and behind the ball, back down the pitch, no run.
Yeah, I don't think this pitch is going to break up, is it? It's not going to be it's not renowned for doing that at Trent Bridge. It's going to stay pretty true throughout the 5 days. So I think maybe batting might get a bit easier. Definitely when we turned up on day one, it was a real green tinge, and that green is pretty much gone now, hasn't it, from the wicket? And if the overhead stay like this with high clouds, it's an opportunity for England. It won't be easy, an opportunity to build a partnership and get up level with India.
Burns again dabs at the ball off a good length, finds its way to Gully, no run. 11 foot, no loss then. England trailing by 84. Burns on 1, Sibley on 5. The first over after the tea break. A maiden from Shami.
I just don't know why Shami is going around the wicket. When he's bowled around the wicket to left-handers, he averages 22, 48 wickets of left-handers from around the wicket, 38 when he bowls over the wicket. And Burns, as a batsman, averages 41 to right-arm pace bowlers bowling over the wicket to him, and 30 to right-arm pacers going round the wicket to him. So it suits Shami as a bowler and is against Burns as a batsman.
I knew there'd be a good reason.
Very statistical, isn't it? As Mohammed Suraj will continue from the pavilion end. Bright sunshine here now at Trent Bridge as he steams in. Sibley edges past second slip down to the third man boundary. There's a chase on, but they won't catch it. And 4 runs for Sibley. Not in control of it, but England moved to 15 for no loss, Sibley to 9.
Yeah, Virat's gone for a very similar field to they had quite a lot, actually. Majority of the first innings, only 2 slips, no gully, and 5. They had a lot of 4 men in the offside. And now they've got 5 men on the leg side, so they're really going to bowl straight at Dom Sibley. And
that chat continuing between Siraj and Dom Sibley as well, just muttering a couple of words to him as he walked past. Sibley leaves outside the off stump this time, and Siraj continues on his run towards Dom Sibley, who looks down and remarks his guard.
And in one way, this field makes a lot of sense that you can't imagine Dom Sibley really hurting you through the offside. You know, he's not renowned for his crunching cover drives. There's definitely a drive in there. He doesn't play it too often, so you know, you can be quite right. I like this move from Kohli. I think he had 5 on the leg side. He had a man catching behind square and catching mid-wicket, and now it's simplified and gone into gully, fourth slip, or Basie as I call it, kind of the middle of nowhere between third slip and gully, to strengthen exactly where that ball went.
And catching mid-wicket as Siraj bowls the line outside the off-stump. Again, he leaves.
So yeah, if he can keep that line there, he'll encourage that outside edge as a couple of balls before. Whether it's a carry or not, none of the balls really through gully have carried, have they? They've all gone, landed well short of 4th, 5th, 6th slip, wherever you want to call it, wherever Rahane is standing.
India attempting to try and unsettle Dom Sibley. He's just shaking his right hand before firmly placing it bottom part of his grip, now set in his crease as Siraj bowls. Works it to just in front of mid-wicket, who dives to stop the ball. KL Rahul in that position, diving away to his right, no run. But that is where he was out in the first innings, looking to work it leg side. It just almost stopped on him and he chipped it up to mid-wicket. The plan worked for Mohammad Shami. Yeah, there were a few words exchanged, weren't there, just before the tea break between Siraj and Dom Sibley, and Virat almost having to hold him back as Siraj pushes forwards, running towards us. Sibley lunges forwards and raises his bat, allows the ball to go through.
You hadn't decided what you're going to eat tonight. You're asking me this at tea, what you're going to eat tonight. Yeah. Any decision?
So there's a Vietnamese on the table.
Okay.
And maybe an Indian.
Both.
Or both, yes. I think we might be finishing quite late tonight, Andy, as Sibley looks to defend, but it beats the edge. Good length delivery, slightly tighter in line, that final ball, and more words being muttered from Siraj, getting stuck into Dom Sibley. At the end of the over, it's 15 for no loss.
India have come out flying, haven't they? Dom doesn't seem to be the type of character when I played against him to say too much, so maybe a tactical ploy to try and drag Dom out of his bubble. I'm not sure it's going to bother him too much.
So Mohammad Shami has a yellow towel or handkerchief poking out the back of his trousers. Is he
flannel, I reckon.
Flannel, okay. As he's giving the ball a vigorous shine on the back of his leg. Here he comes now around the wicket to Rory Burns. 2 slips in the gully as Burns dabs at the ball, guides it to gully, no run. Yeah, you're not with us, are you? You're leaving us after day 3. Part-timer.
Part-time, yeah. I'm off home tonight to see the family for tomorrow morning, then off to Durham to continue Essex's assault on the Royal London Cup.
And how are things going there?
It's all right. We're top of our league at the moment in the 50 overs. We haven't played quite as well as we would have liked in the Championship. Although I think we've got the same amount of points after 10 games or around that when we won the league. We went on a bit of a run last year. Obviously, change of rules, so we haven't got into the final 4-game shootout for Essex, but we've got a chance to go to Durham. Hopefully, the 240 miles, you don't nick off for naught and then have to field 50 overs.
Burns back and across and allows that one to go through. A good length delivery, just passing the top of off as it goes through to Rishabh Pant. There's a space that's formed on the offside now as they've just shifted a fielder across from cover to mid-wicket. So looking to bowl a tighter line, perhaps one slightly fuller to tempt Burns into the drive.
Yeah, one of the great skills of Mohammad Shami. He does swing it. He can swing the ball, but his seam position is so precise and so good that he just shapes either way a little bit. So I quite like this field because allows him to bowl both.
Shami bowls, Burns drives, but goes straight to Jadeja at point.
But allows him to bowl both the in-swinger and the away swinger. And they don't move a huge amount. They're not like a James Anderson classic away swinger. But it's just enough as a batsman, so you have to line him up really well. Now, when I've played against him, I did score some runs against him, but I always found a bowler hard to line up. And I used to play and miss a lot of him because he only moved a little bit, but just enough. A very, very good bowler. That certainly improved a hell of a lot as well when he first came in the scene, as you would expect.
Here he comes now, past the umpire to Burns, who clips off his legs. Oh, it's so good. He threads it through between mid-wicket and square leg, and it reaches the mid-wicket fence. 4 for Burns, moves to 5, 19 for no loss.
Yeah, lovely shot from Rory Burns. That was his in-swinger, Mohammad Shami, targeting the stumps. Actually, I don't think it was the in-swinger.
No, the shiny side was on the left and just carried on.
It wasn't. It just didn't really swing at all. Just got his line slightly wrong. Rory Burns loves it there and timed it beautifully. And now Kohli, I'll say he follows the ball a lot, but he tends to, and he's put out deep backward square leg to cover that option.
Burns this time gets it down to fine leg with another flick shot, but this time Shami arms in the air because that was a lot closer to him missing it, slightly fuller and angled in on leg stump. The cheer from the crowd was Mohammad Siraj at fine leg misfielding the ball, but it comes back in having picked up the 1, 20 for no loss as Burns moves to 6. Yeah, just back to the Royal London. Any young players to speak of coming through?
You put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
I've got the worst
Question
memory
without
in town.
notice.
No, I mean, that's the one thing, obviously, all the players out for the 100. It's given young cricketers an opportunity.
As Shami is in again now, it's time to Sibley on the back foot and defending to mid-wicket.
Yeah, an opportunity to play because most sides have probably, let's say, lost their 2 best batsmen and their 2 best bowlers to go into the franchise tournament. Jack Hayes for Worcester got a brilliant 150 against us, 150 of 120 balls, and I would say it's classic batting as well. It was really good shots. He wasn't slogging or playing fancy shots. All really good, crisp, crunching shots. So I'd say he really impressed me. Now I've got to think of some more names, but we've won quite a lot of our games.
I know Ryan Patel got a good century.
I haven't played against him, so it wasn't against Essex, but he is a good player. And again, he probably wouldn't have played much one-day cricket for Surrey if Surrey were full strength. And that could be a massive part of their development. Like the players who are on the borderline of playing for the first team suddenly get confidence from playing this format, score some runs, and could take into other formats.
Siraj just assessing his field. He's got 2 men back on the leg side to Burns, who's just marking his guard. Deep back square and fire leg on the boundary, 2 slips in a gully, and again a wide open space on the offside as he's going to start round the wicket to Burns, who moves the bat out the way of a line delivery, looking to play at it initially. Quite easily could have fended at that one.
Good skills, and that's the away swinger as well, isn't it, to the left-hander. I faced him in India A in 2018, and he certainly didn't have that skills. There was, I think Dravid was their coach there, and he spoke very highly of him. Said this guy's got a lot of potential. Tried to swing the ball into the left-hander quite a lot. So he's obviously gone away and worked on that skill.
Siraj bowls on the stumps this time as Burns defends. Straight bat, but it finds its way to mid-wicket. No run. Yeah, discovered about 6 years ago Mohammad Siraj, growing up on a diet of tape ball cricket, and was kind of fast-tracked in through the system and got some opportunities in the Indian Premier League. And all the reports from him in the Ranji Trophy is that he is able to swing the ball in and away. And he's incredibly versatile, can bowl the aggressive stuff, can bowl the line and length, can pitch it up as well naturally as he bowls full. And on the stumps this time, Burns defending back down the pitch. He just rehearses a drive as the lights are coming on here at Trent Bridge, even though it is not too gloomy. There's a couple of grey clouds over to our right, which is where they've generally been coming from today. That wind seems to have died down. It's a really strong gale blowing when England were bowling, and those flags hanging limp in the distance now with plenty of blue sky above as Siraj is in again. Burns again just tapping the ball and patting it back down the track. No run.
The crowd's livened up, hasn't it? The songs are coming out now. It's probably that time of the evening, 5 o'clock. Again, the support for the Test match game in England is absolutely superb, isn't it? Fantastic atmosphere.
Sold out months ago here at Trent Bridge.
We've seen some really good cricket and nice little fight back from England. A really good start. If you lose they'd have lost a couple of wickets early in this third innings, those thoughts from New Zealand and all the talk about their batting, but these two have started really well.
Burns back and across and tucking that away down to fine leg. Straying in line on that occasion, slightly fuller again. Siraj targeting that leg stump as Burns comes through for 1. Throw was sent in and he moves to 7, 21 for no loss. Into the 10th over here of the third innings, England's second innings, and England trailing by 74 runs. See a row of spectators in yellow coats over to our left. But in general, lots of blues, lots of dark colours. There's a couple of pinks over to our right as Siraj is over the wicket to Sibley, who is forward and leaving the ball. And again, Siraj spending a little bit more time on Sibley, having a gentle chat to him at the end of the over. 21 for no loss. Burns 7, Sibley 9.
Are they Freddie Mercury's? Is that who they are? Is that who they dressed up as? With that Freddie Mercury jacket he sang at Wembley? I mean, we are quite a long way away. There was one walking, adding to the gang. We've got
grey trousers with a red stripe.
Yeah. I don't know who they've come out as. Obviously come as a gang. Salts is getting the binoculars out, ever prepared. You can't tell.
Looked like an Australian Crown Green Bowl squad. But
yeah, they're firing up now. They won't repeat too soon. We've got another 2.5 hours left to play this evening session. As Shami continues from the Radcliffe Road end round the wicket to Burns, who gets in and behind the ball and defends to a wide-ish mid-on. Yeah, just back to your retirement. So for you, it was just a case of that motivation of having to prepare yourself for the biggest test of all, which is the Test match arena.
Yeah, ultimately, I think, and constantly doing the right things under pressure. I think probably my body my mind after 160 goes at it. I think probably just had enough really. I think
Burns back and across, beats the edge, but drew him into the stroke. Shami, a slightly fuller delivery. He was looking to play it down the ground, and it just left him through to Rishabh Pant. And I think we might see it favouring the bowlers a little bit more now with the lights on, perhaps just skidding on a touch.
Another good ball. Just I say, when Shami doesn't do a huge amount with it, just enough, and that was just enough to draw Roy Burns into the shot. He thought it was coming in. It just held enough.
Head angled towards mid-on as Burns corrects himself and gets in and defends the ball to the offside. No run.
Yeah, so I suppose I probably had enough of putting myself under the pressure, I suppose, ultimately, and it wasn't a decision which I took lightly, if that makes sense. It wasn't a decision I just woke up one day. I'd been thinking about it for 12, 18 months or so, and yeah, it's.
How many times in your career, do you think that you were in that headspace of, I'm not sure if I can carry on?
But not about retiring. That was definitely never really my headspace.
Shami bowls on the stumps and Burns defends
Until
to the offside.
Until the last 12 months. Obviously there's times throughout my career where I was struggling for form and rhythm. My batting, obviously I had a lot of moving parts to my batting. So, for them, not when they weren't in sync, it became quite hard. 2010, I was in that summer here in 2010 before the Ashes. I really struggled a bit into between 2014 and 15 with runs, both in the one day and the one day stuff and the test match day. But I always had that drive to knowing that I would come out the other end.
Yeah, right.
So, as a batsman, you're always going to go through periods.
Burns guides it between slip and gully down to the third man boundary. I think that was intentional. He just opened the face ever so slightly. He might have caught the outer part of the bat, but again, just slightly fuller from Shami outside the off stump.
Yeah, he just played it late, didn't he? I don't think he was maybe trying to hit it a third man, but as an opening batsman, you get it if you play it with soft hands. You're playing it so those nicks don't carry, and you just hope you can guide it into some kind of gap. You don't really know where the ball's going. The bowler always thinks he's won, but actually that's good technique from Rory Burns to allow the ball to come. It's only going to nick it if you get out in front of yourself. He played that right underneath his eyes.
Really late. Burns on 11, 25 for no loss. England is he lets that one go through to punt, slightly further back of a length, but left on length and went over the top of the off stump. Burns on 11 then, Sibley on 9 at the end of the over, trailing by 70. Yeah, for some players it's just a moment where it can be in the middle, or they might just wake up one day and go, yeah, I'm done. And for Adam Gilchrist, I remember he dropped a catch, didn't he? Can't remember who it was off, but he knew straight away that he was going to retire there and then after that game.
Amazing. Yeah, so mine was over a bit of a period of time, and I made the right decision. I made the right decision for myself, made the right decision for my family, and I was lucky enough to go out on a pretty good note, and not many people get to do that.
Sibley
Played.
Pushes to the offside, sets off for a single, but is sent back by his partner.
Nice stride by Sibley's there, wasn't it? It was all his weight into that shot. He doesn't get a big stride in normally, so these two have played really nicely here. 25 without loss. India would have come out hard for this, knowing certainly it led under Virat Kohli when India are ahead of a game. He really tries to push through.
It was interesting to see a bit of intent there from Sibley, because usually he's defending that ball and that's it. He's hanging in his crease and not moving anywhere. But it's going to change in the field now as we'll have a catching mid-wicket and a man a little bit straighter on the drive, as well as a mid-on. No mid-off. There's an extra cover who is now being pushed back to mid-off, and the boos around the ground. There is a bit of drizzle in the air. There is blue sky above. There's an ominous-looking grey cloud over to our right. There is a lot of cloud cover, and you can hear the hover covers firing up as Virat Kohli, well, he's stopped himself halfway to walking off, because he wants to keep playing, and he's looking over into the distance going, well, it looks okay over there, but I think the umpires have called it. They think there's more rain coming, so that is that. The players walking off the field. England, Rory Burns, Dom Sibley speeding off almost, and the Indian players hanging back, as you often see in these situations.
The batsmen are running off, saying can't play out here, and the fielding side always like, of course we can play there, but this is a little shower. I don't think it's a huge amount of rain. My little radar says there's a couple of little showers going to blow through. It's just coming in over the distance. You can see can't really see that little cloud where it's coming from. You can see the rain, so I don't think it's going to be too long, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully not. So England 25 for no loss, 70 behind. Tom Sibley on 9. Rory Burns getting himself off the pair and on to 11. Today, we've had we've had a little bit of rain, but it's just been more showers that have passed through. But over to my right, I can see some really dark grey looking clouds, so we'll see how that pans out. At the moment it's bright sunshine, it's glorious here out in the middle. It's just that rain that's falling and the breeze that's blowing, and it has been blowing pretty hard today, so well, we figure out what's happening here. In fact, it does look like it's easing a bit actually, so hopefully we'll see.
Now then, I've got to give you a further update, and it isn't a good one, I'm afraid. We've had another deluge, and this one's been a little bit more alarming because it's come straight down and it's not moving at quite the same velocity sideways, so it doesn't look quite as spectacular, but it's probably delivering more water and will continue to do so, which is rather unfortunate.
Play has been called off for the day here at Trent Bridge. There was a lot of rain, but it's been called off again with a great deal of sunshine around, and the ground staff are working away at the moment, taking off the water, but under no real pressure for a restart. And the umpires came out while it was raining without their umbrellas up. While clearly they seem to have made their decision in that case that it wasn't going to be called off, but actually then it stopped raining. Blue sky appeared, there was bright sunshine when the announcement came that the match had been called off for the day. So again, some boos rang out of disappointment, of course, but you wonder, there's still an hour and 5 minutes left until play might have been called off. Just a quick one on that, Michael, before we do our review of the day. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I said yesterday, Agus, Test match cricket does everything it possibly can to not play. Other formats do completely the opposite. They do everything possible to try and get the game back on. I'll say it again, if this was a 50 over event, a T20 night, 100 night, cricket would have been played. Because it's Test cricket and we've got a couple more days, they just kind of always walk off and think that it's in favour of one team or the other. Just get on and play. I just think that the Test game that we love in these times where there's so much competition, so many other sports that you can go and watch, this is the format that we all keep saying is the one that we need to protect. Well, I do believe that we need to do something about the state of play that these players keep strolling off the pitch on.
Yeah, here. That feeling, time can be made up, perhaps not counting in the best interests at the moment.